What do I not know? What do you mean? God, that's so bullshit. Ah, I can't remember.
Well, hello again, and welcome back to the Salt Shaker FGC podcast. Now, I have a very special guest, a Tekken prodigy in our New Zealand scene. His legal name is Daniel Cosington, but we all know him by a far more powerful name. Yeah, take it away, bro.
You just exposed me. Now everyone can like track me down with my real name. Yeah, I'm Wowzer, the filthy Arisa player, waifu player, whatever you want to call me. Now the emo waifu player, whatever. That's me.
Why do you say filthy? Why do you say the waifu player?
I've always got shit for playing Arisa, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I was first starting out, I'd get told by people to kill myself and all that stuff. Man. Not very nice people.
No, but they're online people, right? And they don't know you like we know you. But that's the purpose of tonight, is to find out more about you. So yeah, what was your life like before discovering the fighting game scene and before discovering Tekken? What were you doing at that time?
I was playing Team Fortress 2. How long did I play that for? Since it came out, which was like, God, when did that come out? 2008, 2007?
Yeah, quite a while ago, man.
Yeah, a little while. See, I played that every on and off, and before that, I played Halo. But since Halo 4 happened, I stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just played Team Fortress 2 a lot. It was like, I think it was 2015 or something. I started playing Team Fortress 2 competitively, and that was just like you would have like 6 people on each team and stuff like that. But the problem was the game wasn't designed to be a competitive game, and the Valve, who like made the game, never really supported it. And Overwatch happened, which basically killed Team Fortress 2 because all my favorite competitive players went to Overwatch because they had money in it.
But what about yourself? Did you ever play games like Overwatch? Team Fortress 2 seems like such a niche game. Did you ever get into Call of Duty or any of those other shooters?
No, I mean, maybe Call of Duty, like Nazi zombies, but
yeah,
that was it. Team Fortress 2 was like the first game I got actually competitive in. And yeah, when it died, because Overwatch, it's kind of like, man, I've really got to, like, if I want to be a competitive player, I've got to find something new.
Yeah. What's the scene like now? Do you keep much eyes on what's going on with Team Fortress 2?
I have a couple friends back from when I used to play, and I still watch Team Fortress 2 tournaments to this day. It's, I mean, like, basically all my favorite players are just gone,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much. Like, you have like world finals, and it's like 10,000 cash prize pool, and you think that's split between at least 6 people in a team, and not really much to make a living out of.
No, that's true. Well, I've got a clip of you, man, in action. This is
boy.
Yeah. So, what name did you go under during this time? It definitely wasn't Wowzer.
It was kind of cringe. It was Lilac, but instead of the I, it was a 1, so I was kind of cringy like Alchemist is.
Yeah.
And the reason I was named Lilac is just a shade of purple. I thought it sounded cool.
Yeah, interesting.
And yeah, oh god, this is funny seeing this though.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know Team Fortress 2, I was a scout main. Like 24/7, didn't play anyone else.
Yeah.
Damn, that sniper got destroyed.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, so...
yeah,
yeah,
that's funny.
Okay.
I'm actually still friends with who edited this video. I still talk with him sometimes. I think he sometimes plays, but I don't think he's really competitive anymore, though.
Yeah. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I mean, it's not. I mean, I like first-person shooters. Team Fortress 2, I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, as I said, it didn't have big of a competitive scene to begin with, but it was just really fun, and it had a very passionate community, and the skill ceiling was so high. Like, it didn't really feel like other shooters in a way. Like, each character felt really, really unique. Like, for example, the character I played was Scout. He was this super agile, fast dude that had no health, and he could like double jump, and he was. It's funny. His playstyle was you get and do damage, then run away.
Yeah.
Which sounds familiar.
So
He's a bit of a little shit.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to touch on your name now. So it's Wowzer, which some people may know where it's from. I didn't, to be honest. But it comes from a beloved title, another game that you cherish, Life is Strange. So where exactly does that name come from in this game?
Okay, so basically, Max, who is the girl with, not with, yeah, her, she basically says Wowzer as a way of saying wow, and I caught on to the slang. I catch on to a lot of slang. You'll, like, if you talk with me and then you play this game, you'll hear so much slang that I use, which is funny. But yeah, basically, so when I quit Team Fortress 2, I knew I wanted to change my name. And I was just like, I'll just type Wowzer in here just randomly, like, while I thought of something. And I guess you can kind of guess how that went.
Yeah.
Didn't really come up with anything, and now it's a bit late, so that's me.
Look, it is that thing, though, where a lot of us, we choose a name, and over a period of time, you know, it starts to grow. People start to know you by that name. But then you may reach a point where you want to change it, but then, as you said, it's too late. People just, they look at you and they think Wowzer. Like, it's hard to not give you another name but that.
Well, I mean, look at Rambo. He was Rambo like 10 years ago. People still call him Rambo.
Yeah.
Like, if I did, there wouldn't be much point. And people say they like it, so it's like, I'll just stick with it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you had times where you've just thought, oh, crap, maybe I should have had more time, thought of something else, more edgy?
I mean, I personally don't really like it, but I mean, as I said, people say they like it, and it is unintentionally a reference to my favorite games, so it's like, I mean, even on my stick, I have like a, probably can't see it very well, but it says, Life is Wowzer on it.
Yep.
Which is kind of, so, I can't get rid of it now.
Well, hey, are you pretty psyched that they're doing the remastered edition of that game?
Oh yeah, for sure. I haven't played it since when it first came out. I can't even remember when that was. 5 years ago.
Because you do stream. Like, it's good to see you streaming other games outside of Tekken. Would you stream Life is Strange? Are there any other games that have caught your interest?
Maybe. I mean, yes, I will replay the game, but it obviously won't be the same because of the type of game it is. I don't know if you've ever played it or you know anything about how it plays or anything. But
I know a little bit of the backstory. I've played a bit of the beginning of Life is Strange 2.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty something. So she has this power to go back through time through the photos that she takes. And it's kind of like those Heavy Rain Beyond Two Souls. So like every decision you make ultimately takes you down a path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like it's like a game you can only truly experience once, because, you know, if you play it again, you already know what the consequences are. So your choices feel a bit altered, whereas if you don't know what's going to happen, your choices are 100% genuine.
Yeah. All right.
But, yeah, I'm still keen for it. And there's, of course, the new Life is Strange that's going to come out, which looks neat too. I've played all of them.
Okay. So we'll bring it back to Tekken. There's this clip that you showed me, and it's a mirror match of your character with two very strong illicit players. Obviously, we know Chanel, but there's this guy called Sho. So in your storyline, where does this clip enter your life?
This was my very, very first bit of Tekken 7 gameplay that I watched, basically. And this was back in 2016 as well. So I had actually watched Tekken 7 for quite a bit before it even came out. Like, I was already studying it and all that. I can't remember exactly what made me find this match, because I definitely knew who Arisa was. It would have been something like searching up Tekken 7 Arisa, and this would have been like the top result at the time. And the reason, you're probably wondering, why did I search that up in the first place? So basically, this was like end of 2016. My brother bought over Tekken 6 because he wanted someone to play with. My older brother, mind you. I didn't want to play, but I was like, fine, whatever. Like, I'll play a stupid game. Saw Arisa, thought she was cool. But I was like, damn, this game's so cool. It's a shame I can't play this game because, you know, I'm a PC Master Race kind of thing. And then he was like, oh, there's going to be a new game coming early 2017. Totally came out early 2017. He said it was going to come on PC. So I was like, oh, yo, I'll have to give it a little go when it comes out. I decided to look it up. Found this match, and that was that.
Okay. So you were quite taken from Elisa from the very beginning? Like,
yes,
it was the hair,
yes.
It was her fight style. Like, what was it that was appealing to you?
I don't know, because normally I would always go for the super edgy, like, emo type characters. Normally, like, Devil Jin or something would kind of be more my style, but, I don't know why I picked her in the first place, because when I first saw her, I didn't even know she was like a cyborg, android, whatever you want to call her. I just thought she was just this normal-ass girl. I was a bit of a weeb at the time, though. I will admit. Not as much these days, but I was a bit of weeb there, so I would say the pink hair and all that definitely influenced it. And then when I saw like her arms come off, she has chainsaws, wings, all that stuff, I was like, yo, this is like, is she like a cyborg or something? Because I've always been a huge fan of cyborgs, mainly from Raiden from the Metal Gear Rising game. My favorite character of all time.
Yeah, he's a sick character.
Yeah, she gave me those vibes of him. Because, you know, as I said, the whole cyborg thing. And yeah, it's kind of like went from there. She was a cool robot, cyborg, badass, I guess.
So how long would you say from when you watched this clip to attending your first Rambats? What was the time frame?
I probably watched this video, as I said, it was around the end of 2016, probably like December or something. I attended my first Rambat. It was the last one of 2017, which was around October, I think.
Okay.
Of 2017.
So within a year. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like bought the game as soon as it came out. It's funny, actually, because the way I actually ended up buying Tekken 7 was when I used to play Team Fortress 2. I don't know if you know, but it has like this hat system where you pay real money to buy hats and costumes. Basically, I used to trade in it, so I would make profits from it. And what I did was I sold all my hats to buy Tekken 7. My poor hats, man.
Did they take a while to gain, like hats?
It's slow to start for sure, but yeah. I mean, you have hats that are worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars and all that. They were called unusual hats. They basically were hats, but they had like special effects on them. Like the clip of me had like ghosts around it. That was an unusual hat. I can't remember how much that was, but yeah, I sold that and a bunch of other stuff. Like you pay for guns. Sold all that. I can't even remember how much Tekken 7 was, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I may say so, when we first met, I never thought that you were a weeb. That wasn't the impression that I got. You just seemed like a very, very polite, courteous, maybe out of place white boy. Like as we all are when we attend our first Rambats, like trying to find out if this is for us, you know, fish out of water, like very curious, but you don't want to step on anyone's toes. I never thought You were very polite and courteous, and yeah, I remember your first Rambats, and see where you are now. It's just, yeah,
I was so terrified.
bro. It's amazing. Like every player you thought was terrifying, now it's like Jesus, they're terrified of you.
God, that feels like such a long time ago now.
I miss those days at MegaWeb. That MegaWeb. It was a good place, man. It was such a good layout.
For sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the esports hub arena isn't too bad. It's not a bad trade-off.
Yeah, I just miss the people, you know.
Yeah.
All the OGs and all that. They're all kind of gone now.
Who were some of the OGs during that time that were encouraging you to stay with us, stay with the scene?
Abaji, man.
Oh, yeah.
Abaji.
Yeah.
I miss that guy, man.
Sevial too?
He still comes out.
Yeah, I know. Once in a fucking blue moon, or even 4 blue moons, but yeah.
Comes out more than Rambo.
Slight dig. Yeah. Nah, it's so good.
Yeah, there's so many people, man. But
yeah. I'll bring up one of your most influential matches. You were playing in BAM 11, and you were playing against Dan Banter. Now he's known as Wowzer, the Tekken Path to Evo thing.
Look at me there.
Yeah, like already from your first Rambats till now, there was so much growth, so much. Yeah, you had come so far in so lesser time, I suppose. You know, you were already like one of the strongest Tekken players, outdoing some of the legends who had been playing for years in our scene.
Yeah, this would have been... How long would I have been playing here? About 1 year and 9 months or something?
With a character that a lot of people would never give much credit to.
Yeah, and I literally only played her for that whole period as well. Like, I learned the whole game with her, everything. Put so much time and effort into her, man.
Effectively, this was the biggest tournament because there was a lot on the line for both of you and your opponent.
Oh yeah, I never won anything like a trip to Las Vegas, because before this, like before I went to Australia, I was never one to travel or anything. Like the only time I would have traveled would have been like 10 years old on a trip to the Gold Coast, you know, classic. But like that was it, you know. So it was like going to Las Vegas. I tell you, when I won this set, it just like sunk in.
Like,
and
you could make this thing happen.
Well, that I actually had made it happen. That like I'm actually going to Vegas to do something that I loved, and my passion was like paying off in a way. And yeah, I almost cried, not gonna lie. I like covered my face like this because I was like hiding my face because I didn't want to show people that I was sick.
Yeah.
Oh shit, better hide.
Your family, because you have siblings. Were they aware of what you were going to Australia for?
I'm not sure about my younger ones. I can't remember too much. I think my older brother probably knew. At the time, it was mainly Papa Ham that was encouraging me, to be honest. At that time, because I was kind of still like starting out, getting out there in a way. So yeah, they didn't really know. I don't think.
Were there any key things from this set with Dan Banter, now Wowzer, that you still remember today?
Yeah, I remember, because I think it ends 3-2 after reset or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And so I was in losers here. No, sorry. I was in winners. And he got something like 5 games straight or something. And I was like, he was 2-0 up for final match. And I remember just thinking to myself, this fucking guy is going to be so fucking nervous and desperate because he wants this prize so badly. And it actually made me calm down more. I felt very, very confident in myself because I knew for a fact how nervous he was. And reverse sweep.
Yeah. That is one thing that I've always seen between you two, is your styles. As you said, you used to get a lot of hate pre NZFGC because of this of the character, you know, that you play, and your playstyle is very defensive. Some people don't like that. Like, I think New Zealand has a lot of players that are explosive, you know, that explosive style.
Yes.
And that was kind of the duality between you and him, is that he could kind of flick on the intensity on a dime, whereas you would always kind of be that same note, pure fundamental defensive. We'll go over, obviously, the change of your playstyle when you had to, for a temporary time, change to another character. But did you ever see that relationship whenever you guys run into a tournament? You were like fire and water. You were kind of like, you know, hot and cold.
Well, it's funny actually, because there was a period where he would beat me, and there'd be a period where I would beat him. The main change was I actually became more aggressive to overcome him, because he didn't really have much defense himself. And, you know, offense, I think, is much easier if your opponent doesn't have the defense. And Arisa, she wasn't an offensive character, at least back then she wasn't, so it was tough. But I remember watching a hella ton of Arson Ash, actually, and his style with Kazumi really inspired my Arisa's aggression style. Like, jab and just poke and move and that kind of stuff, because, you know, I was always super defensive, but it got to a point where I was too defensive and it would kind of, it didn't work on, you know,
yeah, well,
like some people would be able to overcome it, and Dan was one person that could always exploit my defense. So I had to learn from fighting him so much. I had to learn to get offensive, and then from there it's all about learning when to be offense and defense. You can't just be one or the other.
Yeah. No, just whenever I would see you two run into each other, I'd always see that relationship, that fire and water relationship. It was really interesting to always see it play out. And that was one of your biggest matches before you grabbed your big sponsor, Kanga. Now, I'll be honest, man, when a lot of people would ask me about sponsorships, I would never mention you. I'd never mention players like Wowzer or anyone else, just because, like, you're already on their radar. Like, there's, like, you don't even need to push yourself. Like, it'll happen eventually. You just have to give it time. And then it eventually did, you know. You got Kanga. You grabbed an opportunity that not a lot of people, you know, would have been able to get, that we were hungry for. And you know, you're able to travel and get a lot of overseas experience. What, when you found out the news, what were your first thoughts?
News of getting sponsored, you mean? Well, I actually knew for a while, because I was talking with Timmy Flaps for a bit about it, because he made like this, it was like this tweet or something saying if you're looking to get sponsored, like, hit him up kind of thing. And my friend Blind Duality brought it up to me, and so I messaged him about it, and he basically, I said I was going to BAM, and so I met him there and I talked to him a bit, and he was so supportive, by the way. He was like, he was really supportive of me, and he really wanted me to be on Kanga. It took a little bit. I think it took about, it was around July, so I think it was about in the talks for like 2 or 3 months or something, and then they finally got it, and
did they have to win you over? Did they have to put on much of a sales pitch, or were you just waiting for the stars to align?
Nah, kind of just like, I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been Timmy just having to talk to them about me or something, or them having to write a contract, whatever. But I think a big influence on it was my free trip to Evo.
Yes.
Like, I think that was a big influence on why I got it too. Oh boy.
Yeah, going to Evo, running into how many Steves of that caliber?
Every tournament.
Well, it was season 2, man. There were Steves everywhere.
Yep. Horrible. As Nobi said, because when I fought Nobi at BAM and he bet me, you know what he said to his? He said, "Unlosable matchup." Unlosable matchup. Cheeky bastard.
Cheeky, man. What were some of the best things about this trip to America? Obviously Evo, but what other things, made it worthwhile?
I think, honestly, just letting people know that we exist, because we're kind of like literally on the bottom of the world. People don't really know of us. I think it was definitely just getting our scene out there. Like, people would ask me, I was like, I like your accent. Where are you from? I'm like, New Zealand. And like, what the hell's that? Like, they don't know. And other than that, being able to meet more of my Australian friends again, like Alchemist, Rick, Brown Man, and all that. And I think the biggest thing for me was it was my first time meeting Chanel as well, because Chanel wasn't at BAM. I managed to get a photo with him. I don't know where that photo is, though. I think that photo is long gone now. Jan, there was like this Arisa cosplayer that I think it was Brown Man and Rick. They made me do a photo with her, and I was so nervous. Yeah, there was so much. Or even just like being able to, when I rocket punch Super Akuma, that was so funny.
So how many of you were at, I'm trying to remember who was it. I think it was Korn, you.
It was Royston, Rambo.
Neil was there as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was Dan. There was Milky. I think there was about 10 of us.
Yeah.
It was about 10 of us.
But you know what? The names that you've said, that's a good group to be with.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I met new people as well. Like, I met Anya there. She's really lovely. She is. From Mexico. I believe you had her on here before.
Yep.
Yeah, that was where I met her. Yeah, as I said, I remember once. It was weird. Normally, I would be the person to, like, approach international people. I was like, oh, wow, nice to meet you. It was so weird, because, I think it was, like, Petro Rose or something. I'm like, oh, Wowzer, come here. It was freaking Cherryberry Mango. It was like, oh, you're Wowzer, nice to meet you. I'm like, why do you know me? I was, like, so confused, because I knew who Cherryberry Mango was. I was like, how do you know who I am?
That's crazy.
It was so random, And, being able to play Rainshu as well was insane, because he was in my bracket. God, that guy was insane. He was. God damn. What was that? Someone's nose got in the way?
Honestly, Petro is a good chiller, man. Like, he knows how to sell his product, but he knows how to sell the people in the video.
He did so much at Evo. Getting the footage, like, none of this footage would be, Like, I didn't get on the mainstream or anything, so I'm so thankful that he even just got this match. It's, crazy.
Got another one. You were at OHN, rocking the Kanga banner, but you're in the Australian home turf. And I got the match with you where you're playing dee-on Gray, and I think you came third. So this is as far as you got, and obviously New Zealand's watching. We are rooting for you like hell, but we know it's dee-on Gray. He is not going to be an easy target. You've had experience with dee-on, and obviously once again, it's like you've come so far, even from Evo to this point. It's like, where was your mind at this point?
I mean, I actually fought him at BAM, and I bet him. I put him in losers. And I had trained with him so much online as well. Like, played him heaps. So, I mean, I guess I was somewhat confident, because as I said, I had beaten him before. But if I remember correctly, I get absolutely demolished in this match. Yeah. It doesn't go very well, but yeah, that was a good match though.
This is Jack. We have another defensive turtle type character, so you kind of knew the rhythm that he would employ. I think I even heard from someone, and I wish I remembered who said it, but they told me, like, what dee-on was doing. He was taking moments where he was just standing still because he was trying to provoke you into doing something. Did you feel that at times during the match with him?
It was, to be honest, it was way too long ago at this point. And especially with me having been down in Christchurch recently and playing him a bit, this footage is a bit too old for me to fully remember.
Yeah.
But, I just mainly remember feeling really flustered. That new movie that I was new at the time, so everyone was eating that.
Yep.
Yeah, I just remember being really flustered, not knowing what to do, to be honest.
And what was your new move? Your new move was the back 4-4, was it? That new punish?
I think it was, yeah. I think so. Might have been, yeah. Must have been.
Okay.
Actually, no. The new thing was the bunny outfit. Let's be real.
All right.
Being able to use the bunny outfit in tournament, yeah, that was all I cared about. Yeah.
It was really cool to see how you had, I guess, what we would call a Rocky moment. You know, like Rocky, like there's Rocky 4 where he's like fighting the Russian guy in his home turf, but the locals are cheering him. And you know the Australians love you as well, and they were seeming to do that as well for you.
Oh yeah, I have like tons of Aussie friends. I absolutely love the Australians now. I miss those guys, man. OA Chin was definitely one of the most fun I've ever had. They're so cool there, so chill, so nice. All that stuff. It was a really awesome tournament. And it was funny because for my Kanga buddies who was like Naveed and Rick and all that, you know, they're Australians, but like I'm Kanga, so they had to root for me instead of their Australian boy.
They betrayed their home turf.
Yeah. Even though I kind of betrayed New Zealand because it was a kangaroo, but can you do?
Yeah, I know. Why do you like the bunny outfit so much? Because you always seem to choose that over any other custom preset.
It's not as much the outfit itself, it's more the fact it's a bunny. I've always had a fascination with rabbits in general. And like in this footage I had like this bunny necklace. You know, it was quite a few things like I was born under the year of the rabbit, so I think I always had a fascination with that. And one of my favorite anime characters, since I was a weeb, as I said, she had like this bunny theme going on, who was Toka from Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, and then Alisa also turned out to be a bunny girl, so I was like, yo, you know, I have this whole bunny thing kind of going, it just seemed right.
Just fit. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. It's definitely not because of the skin she shows.
Does Chanel approve that you like the bunny preset?
Oh yeah, some of the first footage I used to look at him, he'd be wearing it. I'd be like, yo, that outfit's sick.
So, like, what's that been like to actually, you know, we all kind of look up to players of the characters that we play, but you actually got to meet Chanel and got to play him, and you've got to know him from first meeting him. So what's it been like, that relationship? How much tech do you share? Do you share much info on other things in life?
Yeah, every so often I send him like a Arisa mod here and there. It's like, yo, Chanel, check this out. And he's like, oh wow, thank you, bro. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I first met him in Evo. Got a photo of him. It kind of didn't really go anything from that, you know. And then I went to Korea for ASF. I met him again, and again I was scared to go up to him, but this time he actually recognized me. So what the fuck? Why does he recognize me? You know, he was really, really cool. I got another photo. And I got peer pressured by my friends there, because Abuji was there. He was kind of like my translator, like my Korean translator. Basically, I asked him to play a match with me. And here it is here. You know, I got to play with him.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say he was surprised by how I played. As in, you know, because like New Zealand isn't really a known region, right? He probably would have expected me to, I don't know,
to be a pushover. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually the one on the left, and he's the red one on the right. But yeah, and then he gave me some advice through Abuji's translation. He had funny advice actually. It was backdash more. Thanks, Chanel. Thanks.
So this is off Brown Man's computer or laptop. So where is this?
Yes,
is this in the hotel room of Brown Man?
No, so this was actually at like the tournament setup, and basically Brown Man had a laptop there, and I just asked him to play on it. I think it was the first of 5 we did. And he actually said, yeah. I was so shocked. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna play Chanel. What the, you know? And this was my first time fighting like a high level Aisa player as well, because there's not really much Aisa players here.
Yeah, people seem to forget that not a lot of people actually specialize with this character. Like,
yeah.
can you make a top 10 list of Alyssa players? Like
you mean worldwide?
Yeah, worldwide, like legit top 10.
It's hard to say now, because like you've got Chanel, but he hardly even plays her anymore these days. And then there's this other player I used to really like, named Bakerin, who was my favorite for a bit. He doesn't. Last I saw him, he was playing FAC. The only Alisa players I can really think of is like Cuddlecore. I don't know if Kawaii Face Miles still plays her. There's Shirtle from Europe. I don't know if he still plays her or mains her. Like, I feel like there's no Ace representation anywhere.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not the loyalists. You're just saying the representation.
Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, we will definitely go into that a bit later. But so he gave you advice, backdash more. Did anyone else in that room give you any other advice or peer pressure you to do anything else with him?
Well, another thing I thought was creepy was, so Nee was actually watching as well. He was like behind Chanel in his chair. So I was playing Chanel and I had Nee watching as well. I felt so much pressure. I'm like, oh my god, I have to make sure I look good. But, nah, not really. It was kind of, yeah, they just made me talk to Chanel. I really wanted to get his autograph on my stick, but I couldn't get a freaking pin anywhere to like a permanent marker, so that didn't work. Yeah, and then it was mainly like when I came back home, I started coming into his stream, and he followed me on Twitter, and he would start replying to me, and then I'd go on his Twitch channel. He'd be like, "Oh, hello, Wowzer," and then he'd like talk about me, but in Korean. So I'd hear him say Korean words. He'd say Wowzer, and then New Zealand. I'm like, okay, he's telling people who I am, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just these days we just it's really weird, to be honest. Like, he's like on my friends list on Steam and everything. Like it's just casual, you know. Like
that's pretty smooth, man. It's pretty smooth.
It's really weird. But the only issue is that obviously his English isn't that good. But I try to use really simple English so we can understand each other.
Yeah. If you were to meet him again in the future, what would be the things that you'd want to do? You definitely want him to autograph your stick. Is there anything else?
I don't know if I would now, because it kind of feels different now. Like,
because he's more your peer now rather than
like
the idol.
Like,
yeah,
I haven't had an idol for a while now, to be honest. It's not that like I think I'm at the skill level of Chanel or anything. It's just I feel like I kind of went my own way, you know.
Yeah.
And especially with him not really playing Arisa anymore as well, could be another factor. But even when he does, it's like, yeah. I mean, I root for him, but he's not like I won't fanboy over him anymore. And yeah, I haven't had any players like that for a while now.
Yeah.
As I said, there was the other Arisa player named Bakerin, but he's not around anymore.
Okay. Well, before we'll touch into the whole changing Alyssa to play, you know, the other character. So you had the matches with Chanel, and this was probably before, or not happening during the actual IESF thing where Brown Man and Alchemist were commentating. And I should have said it before. Australia, they've got some of the best commentators, hands down. They beat us so much in terms of commentary. But yeah, you're playing Take and he's playing Kazumi. Another opportunity that like doesn't come around for New Zealand, but here you are playing against every country's representative player. Yeah, like, did you feel the pressure? Man, I just want to say, damn, I look so different there. But
yeah, I guess definitely I wanted to do well for the country. Um, but I tell you, this match is probably the most fun I've ever had in a match. Probably,
Why
probably
is
my
that?
most favorite match. It just felt, it just felt so like fun and like everything he did. I felt like I was fully 100% outplayed. He made me feel like Elisa sucked. Like he would like step everything, and that was when I realized Elisa was actually very linear. And yeah, it was crazy. It was just so fun. It was just poking. Like I don't think even really any combos happened. It's just poke, move, all that stuff. It was yeah, I absolutely loved that match. And even just like I think I got one game. Like that one game felt so goddamn good.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Like obviously I wanted to win, but I didn't feel that bad for losing. Especially because it was a little bit after this match I saw in a tournament, Nee picked Arisa against Take, and Nee lost. I was like, okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
He lost with Arisa too, so I can't have been that bad.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I learned so much from that match. It was
Yeah.
so fun.
Did you discover something new playing against a Kazumi with Elisa, or was it just general fundamentals? You're right. There were hardly any combos happening. It was just kind of poke, backdashing, poke, pause,
Well,
another poke.
the thing is, no one plays like this in our region. And I think that's why I had so much fun with it. Like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, just movement, poking. I can't really explain it, but it was definitely something I've never fought before. Because I fought Chanel after this match. Um, yeah, and I just wish I could fight that style more often. I haven't fought that style since I went overseas. It's definitely best way I could describe it. It kind of felt like I was fighting myself in a way,
Okay.
as in like same kind of play style. Because I realize my style is a bit unique in this region, but when I go overseas, I notice it's much more common, and so it's definitely very enjoyable for sure.
Hmm. Well, what's the closest you've come to facing this style over here, or even in Australia?
No, there isn't really anyone, to be honest.
No.
No, not really. Yeah, not really. No, avoid. A lot of Oceania kind of feels the same to me, if I'm completely honest.
Quite aggressive.
Yeah, like hit like big button heavy. I kind of feel like not as much movement and stuff like that. But I mean, it's kind of like when you travel, you realize each region kind of have their own play styles. Like Korea is very like movement heavy, whereas you go to like Japan or something, they're much more like aggressive and kind of more buttons. Apart from Take plays more like a Korean, which is very interesting. Um, but yeah, and then I feel like Oceania not really much about movement. A lot of it is like aggression, buttons, kind of big moves and stuff like that.
Big buttons to get big damage. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see
kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, we did go over your tenure with Kanga and some of the tournaments you've played in. And I should actually mention the one man who, I mean, come on. Like, you
Papa
mentioned it. Yeah, of
Ham!
course. Like, your dad's the GOAT, and I mean that. He's into martial arts, and I truly believe that parents that come from a passionate background, admiration of sports, they generally tend to fuel that diligence, that attitude to compete in their children because they want to achieve what they get the opportunities that they never got. But your father never did that with you. He kind of encouraged you, as you said, to walk your path, not in martial arts, but in your passion, fighting games.
Well, it's funny. He would say I was doing what he did, but except it was in my brain, not as like doing martial arts, but through the game kind of thing. That's how he would always put it.
Hmm. Did he ever, when you were growing up, try to get you to follow the ways of the karate or the ninja?
He's no, I mean he did used to teach Kempo. He used to do Kempo classes that my older brother did. It never really was for me. But I do remember he would always say, like, say we would play Mortal Kombat together or something. He would always be like, "Man, you should really like compete. Like, I reckon you'd be really good, son." And this is when I'm like 12 or 13 or something. And he would say, "I was just like, shut up, Dad. You don't know what to talk about." Like, I'm not good at these games. Yeah, he's always just been supportive, no matter what I do, to be honest.
Nah, we love him. And, you know, I guess we'll take this part now to the whole you dropping Alyssa for Kuni. And he was one of the people that was telling you, you know, have a secondary, pick a secondary. We've had this talk in the past about, you know, specialists and loyalists, you know, does it hinder your skill level? And to some degree it does. But it's weird because a lot of people, they like seeing you play in part because of the character. So when you dropped Alyssa to go to Kuni, we were mentioning it before about the way you played, that defensive style didn't work. What happened to make you realize that?
Well, it was definitely the fact that Kuni was much more tailored through aggression. I mean, she was like free stances. You know, it just wasn't working for me at all. So I just started experimenting with her much more, and I was finding much more success with it. Yeah, and she has a lot of stuff that I'm not used to, like, for example, having a legit downfield one. Because when you look at Alisa's downfield one, she has like a -7 downfield one. Like, what are you going to do with that? So you can't really play her in like a traditional way where you use like a quick, safe mid poke that's like good frames on block. If you get what I mean, like Alisa was never anything like that, and I don't think it was so much of Kuni's problem. I think it was more since Alisa works so different from everyone else in the cast. I think the fact that I learned the game with her, because as I said, I played her for like 2 or 3 years straight, and I think because of her unique playstyle, that hindered me when I went to Kuni, who kind of had some much more traditional tools, like, you know, as I said, having a good downfield one, having a generic down 4, yeah, just stuff like that. I found that really difficult.
Yeah. I'll also briefly mention, I think it was last year's Nats, where I think you were playing Alyssa and you got knocked out by 305 playing Safina. You didn't even make top 8, let alone top 16. Like, that was an upset. That was an upset no one expected. I think there was 2, maybe 3 moments where he ended up at your back. That was the nightmare of Safina. Like, that was pretty hard to see, man.
I don't like to make excuses or anything, as that's not what I'm like. But if I'm completely honest, I was in a very bad place there. Like, I didn't even want to be at the tournament or anything. I was only there because Dad really wanted me to go there and compete, but I was not in the right headspace or anything. And a lot of people could probably see that. Like, I mean, I know I'm normally antisocial anyway, but I took it to like a whole other extreme. I wasn't talking to anyone. I just didn't want to be there. And that definitely affected my gameplay a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like, 305 did really good. You know, he got freaking second, right?
Second, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not that I played really bad either. Like, 305 for sure, he deserved it. But yeah, I definitely was not in the headspace to compete there.
You dropping Alyssa to play Kuni, you released a video on your channel, and I'll kind of briefly go over the headline message was that, you know, you were afraid of dropping Alyssa because of, you know, abandoning Alyssa felt like kind of abandoning the support and love you got, you know, from people because of the character. You know, we loved you for the bond, you and the character.
Yeah.
I know that was quite hard for you to kind of deal with. But you somehow overcame it, and you found your footing with Kuni. And you made some good, you know, tournament results. But I think obviously what we really want to see you do is be back on top with Elisa, and you did it with Crush Canna Capital. We'll mention briefly Southern Stronghold, where you were playing Kuni, and Shredder 2 OP, Marduk 2 OP. And then not long after that, Rambats, you know, Yumi's playing Kuni as well, and you were kind of struggling with the mirror matches. What was it exactly in the mirror match that you had trouble with?
It just felt really awkward because you're both doing the same thing, forcing the same situations, but I don't know. I think it was more that when I play Kuni, I have a rougher time paying attention to my opponent. Yeah, I don't know if that's just from like different situations, as I said, like having a different downfield one. And overall, I think Yumi just was the better Kuni player, like easily, especially now, because he was always labbing with her. And that's the thing, like when I was playing Arisa, as I said, like I learned the game with her. I learned so much situational stuff through her. And so completely changing it to play a character like Kuni, like I wasn't even labbing or practicing when I was playing her because I didn't have any passion with Kuni, like nowhere near the passion I had with Kuni that I did with Arisa. Whereas when you look at Yumi, he definitely has that passion with her. And that's definitely why he bit me in the mirror, to be honest.
Yeah.
He has that passion with her. He wants to be good with her. Kuni, yeah. It was a bit of an awkward situation.
Yeah. It isn't something that we face a lot. Well, over here, loyalists and mirror matches. This is one of the Rambats, one of the last Rambats prior to CCC. So, you know, you're kind of heading into CCC kind of knowing that if you run into him in the later bracket, it's going to be a Kuni versus Kuni mirror. Or did you decide early on that you were going to rock out Alyssa? A lot of people were saying, if you bring out Alyssa in CCC, I'm going to lose my shit. So, what was your prep for CCC?
I mean, if I'm completely like on the after interview
You
after
just
the
rock up.
tournament,
You just rock up feeling you're all good. Like, yeah, I'm ready.
all it was, I just like I talked to my friend T Swifer, whatever you want to call him. I just talked to him. I was like, "Who the hell do I play, man?" He said, "Elisa." I'm like, okay, that was that. That's really all it was.
I mean,
it's like, okay, I'll play her.
Yeah, I mean, you were playing a lot of Destiny 2 before Southern
Yes.
Stronghold, and I thought, oh, it's
Yes.
probably going to be the same thing. He's just going to be focused on other games, and he'll just rock up to CCC. Like, he may not take the gold, but you know, he'll get close.
Yeah. I mean, like I just didn't really know what to do, to be honest. Like, do I main Noctis? Do I keep playing Kuni? Do I go back to Elisa? Because, like, the reason why I switched to Kuni in the first place was because I haven't been enjoying the way Elisa has been changed every patch. I still don't enjoy her. Like even now, I'm not, like, whenever I play her, I'm not enjoying her. But yeah, it's just like, because how they nerf the poking and all that, and then they adjust it by buffing a chainsaw move. I hate chainsaws. They're so boring. They're so easy. It's just lame. And so I went to Kuni because it was a way to get out of that awkwardness. Because I felt like I was fighting my own character with the whole, like, being forced to go into chainsaw stance when I don't want to, but there's, like, situations where you literally can't get out of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had so much conflict like that. Whereas Kuni felt much, much more freestyle to me. Like, nothing really felt forced. And plus she was edgy and emo. She was more like my normal stereotype of characters I would go for. But I could just never really get that familiarity I did with her that I did Alisa.
Well,
and
sorry, man. Yep.
I think a lot of it too is just my Alisa has had so much experience. Like I had, like, no doubt, Alisa is my best character by far. Like my Kuni, my Noctis, they're like nowhere near close. And I think that's because, like, as I said, I learned the game with her. I played her for like 3 years straight, and I've had all my overseas experience with her, facing all these different playstyles and characters and everything. And yeah, just.
So you're like me, you're like a lot of us, you're not really a fan of how all the characters are starting to have not only similar tools, but similar options to overcome any situation that they're put in.
Yeah, I mean, even now, I still don't know if I would call myself an Alisa player. I'm still in conflict whether I want to play Alisa and Kuni together, if I want to play Alisa and Noctis, if I want to play Kuni and Noctis, if I just want to play Noctis. Like, I don't know. Like, the only thing I do know is I know my Alisa is my best character. If I want success, then yes, use her. And honestly, at this point, I've just been telling myself like using chainsaws. She's just like every other character now. Like every character, they're super cheap. They have all these stupid moves, and this is Alisa's stupid move. So if anything, it's just making it fair for everyone else. It's like, okay, you got some bullshit. Here's some bullshit back at you. I'll do some fucking chainsaws or whatever.
Yeah. So outruling you bringing out Kuni at the next major or even at an offline, that's not to be ruled out. You know, we could still see Kuni from you in the future.
Honestly, it all depends on how I'm feeling. Like, as I said, I still don't know who I want to play. I don't enjoy Alisa. It's just she's just not the same as she used to be.
Okay. Well, the Tekken 7 exhibition that I hosted when I had Brown Man and Friendly Tree commentating, Brown Man said something really interesting. It's the fact that, like, changing to a character that you're comfortable with, it's not about the skill level, but just something changes. You know, you feel more confident. You know, something just clicks when you're playing a character that you're more confident with. And you're saying with Alisa, she's it for you. You know, like, if you're bringing out Alisa, it means you're going out all guns blazing.
Oh yeah, as soon as I got Alisa, everything just feels supernatural for me. Yeah, everything, because like labbing every single situation, I do some weird 1 in a billion chance situation that happens. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna freaking lab that for in case that 1 in a billion happens again. It was so much of that, and all of it, pretty much everything I did was my own, because Alisa players, they all kind of felt the same. Like, never really did any unique or special stuff, so I kind of had to lab everything myself. And also on top of the fact that there's never really been any Alisa players in the first place, so the fact that I had to lab everything is just like, at this point, like, you kind of become the character in a way. You just yeah. And yeah, it just definitely wasn't like that with Kuni at all. Not at all.
Well, with you coming back into form with Alisa, you know, you've gone through this somewhat transformation. You know, the black hair, the makeup. You're on Instagram now. Like, what's going on, man?
Just trying new things, you know? I mean, this whole, like, whatever the frick you want to call it, grunge, emo, cringe, e-boy, I don't know, whatever. It's always been up here for like ages. I was just always too scared to commit to it. Because, like, you'd probably notice, like, whenever I play a game, my character would be like super edgy and emo, and then I'd just be like this innocent little blonde white boy that looked funny.
Just like I saw you on day one, man. Nah, but
Yeah, it was always up here.
NZFGC's family, you should never feel, be who you are. Like, that's the one thing that I think makes us so real.
That's why I'm doing it, because I want to show people that it's okay to be who you are. As I know that, like, I do have an image, I know that people know me, so I want to use that as a way to show that it's okay to just be yourself, don't give a shit about what other people think. And especially after that incident at, yeah, like, that was when I was like, I'm just going to show it's okay to be yourself, so I'm just going to go full emo, pretty much.
Is this you being yourself, man? This very wholesome, hearty tweet that seemed to grab a lot of positive attention. Now, a lot of pro players would charge for something like this, or they may not give a shit to people who are less skilled than them. What sparked this from you?
I've been told for like years, like, oh, you should coach people, like you can make money out of it and all that, but I've never really believed
like I've got
in charging money.
No harm if you want to make money from it, but it's just it's an interesting topic, because there are some people that only commit time if they're getting something on the side. But
for me, it's sorry, I cut you off there.
No, go.
For me, it's the scene getting better, and whatever way you want to look at it, it gets our scene out there. So if we start traveling again, we'll show up. Or if the scene gets better, so do I, because the scene gets better, so do I. It's a lot of things, and a lot of it is just like I've always helped people, but it was always from people asking me, and I've always enjoyed doing it. It's a way of making me feel good about myself, like being able to help others. And yeah, like that's what it really is for me, just like getting like, oh, thank you so much for the help, and actually seeing them improve. It's just like it's priceless in a way for me. Like it just makes me happy. And yeah, as I said, the scene getting better,
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I think we like to see champions rise, but I think what's really special is when you have a champion that has a lot of people who care, that show their hearts for that champion. I think that's something special. I've said it to a few people on this podcast. I've said it about Ghost Chips and Street Fighter V, and I think you're the same thing. How many people reached out to you and showed admiration?
There was a few comments on it. Yeah, I've had a couple people just randomly message me. It's like, oh, can you help me out? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. Depends on the people. Like some people I'll know straight away. Some people it's like, oh, you need to send me some of your footage so I can take a look and all that stuff. Yeah, it's good. As it was actually my stream that kind of made me do it though. My stream chat, they're like, just do it. Just make it public that you want to help people. It's like, yeah, just made the tweet.
Oh, that's really nice of you, dude. Where do you see the potential of the NZFGC going in regards to this Tekken 7 players? Like I've seen your growth, but what I'm asking you is, what growth do you see in the future for the Tekken scene?
To be honest, I feel like New Zealand is in a very, very awkward state right now. Because we've lost so many of our top players. Like, as I said, you've got RBG who's gone. The other guy, you've got Zazog who doesn't come out anymore. You've got Rambo who doesn't really come out anymore. You've kind of lost all these top players. It's more up and coming people now. You've got Jera, you've got Yumi, you've got Shredder, Axel. It's kind of, I don't know if newer people as well, but it's like just up and coming people. But I feel like
there's a new hierarchy. Yeah, there's a new hierarchy being established.
Yeah, but I feel like they're lacking the people that I had the chance to learn from. Because, like, I learned so much from Abaji and Zazov and like all that. I had so many people help me, and not even them. You know, it would be like BG or it'd be God,
you're speaking my language now. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Richard or AMS, whatever you want to call it.
God,
Yes,
damn, man.
he helped me out. Yeah, so many people. Like just these people that aren't around anymore, and it's kind of upsetting in a way. Because yeah, as I said, like I just feel like the up and coming people, they just don't get the same.
They don't get that same experience you had, the opportunity.
Yeah, so I feel like that might stunt their growth in a way. And also, me being the only player at the moment that, well, one of the only few people that has overseas experience as well. Like, most people here have only fought in New Zealand. And definitely when you go overseas, it's like a wake-up call in a way on the different ways you can play. And that's also one of the reasons why I made the tweet for wanting to help people, because if people can kind of learn what I've learned, that would benefit me in a way as well. You know, I can fight them because they're better and all that. But yeah.
No, I get what you mean, man.
Tough.
I suppose, I guess it just falls on to people like you who have that experience, that background, as you're doing right now, you know, wanting to kind of share and impart that knowledge onto the new movement, the new generation, so to speak, of players.
Like at the moment, like I haven't really learned anything for a long time now. I feel like I haven't improved or learned anything for ages. And yeah, that's kind of just like from people's lack of experience in a way. Yeah. Like if I lose something, it always feels like something that I've always been able to do anyway, that I'd have to like adjust to. But it's stuff that only my Arisa can do at the same time. Because as I said, you know, I had all the experience of her overseas and all the coaching and all that stuff. Yeah. It's so awkward phase at the moment, I feel.
So, in saying that, you feel like you're in an awkward phase as well. What do you think is your next challenge, or what's the next move that you think you should do?
With Tekken, I don't know. Like, play people and hope they learn stuff from me, maybe, because I know that I do play different, obviously, from overseas experience and all that. Hope people can learn and like hit me up, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I hardly even play Tekken these days, to be honest. I'm always chilling, as you said, playing Destiny or playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like, I know normally someone just hit me up like, "Yo, you want a game?" I'm like, sure, I guess. You know, like hoping maybe they'll learn something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my main focus right now is doing my very best to try and level up the scene for when all this bad stuff around the world all blows over, so we can kind of like be prepared in a way to really get our region out there. You know, especially with us having this new what's the word, like, you know, these newer players that haven't had the experience. Yeah, it's definitely just trying to like prepare them and stuff like that. So I would say that, yeah, like that would be another reason why I'm playing Arisa, even though I don't enjoy her, is like hoping people can learn from the way I use her and put it to their own style in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like the very condition movement heavy style that people don't really seem to do in this region. Like when I fight people, everyone feels so stationary. They're like statues of liberty. It's just like, and that's why when I fought Take, it was such a huge shock for me because it was the first time I had really fought someone that actually used a movement. And it doesn't even come down, like, I know there's people that say, oh, Wowzer is carried by Arisa's movement or whatever, but it's not even really down to that.
Yeah,
like, I know Kazumi has good movement, but it's like people in general just feel so stationary.
No,
yeah.
So if there's a lesson that you want to pass on, it's like movement. Like it's not big buttons, it's not heavy combo damage, it's...
I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, really. Like, obviously, like, some people I won't move around as much. Some people I will. It all depends who the opponent is. And I feel like that can also be one of the reasons why my Arisa does well, is because people aren't used to fighting that style here, because no one does it but me. You know, so people kind of feel flustered. It's like, how do I beat this style? It's like, I don't know. It's just different, you know?
It's like chasing a balloon in the wind. Like, it really is. As soon as you get close, it goes
yeah, like what's this guy doing? He's like doing this -1 low that does 11 damage. He's hit me with it freaking 10 times in a row. How do I deal with this?
To be fair, though, there are some people in our scene that are trying to do what you do. They're trying to poke, they're trying to get the damage, and then they'll get the life lead and run away. But with you, yeah, it is different. It is very different to what you do. But
the problem is, most people don't, like, for example, because yes, down back free is easily my most favorite move in the game.
It's all and people don't see.
But people don't really seem to realize I'm not doing it for the damage all adding up. I'm doing it for the situation afterwards. Like, I want to do a down back free and see what you do afterwards. Maybe you do a down forward 1, so I'll sidestep left hop kick. It's stuff like that. And I think people are too focused on the moves themselves. Like, people focus on the down back free itself and not as much the situation afterwards. Yeah, just...
No,
and I think a lot of that is just, like, you know, how characters work. You know, like, characters having such big moves, you don't really need to condition with them. Like, for example, Fack, like, you know, you just do 3+4 or whatever, like, right? You know, or Leroy, you have some homing hell sweep.
All these simple character killers.
Yeah.
Honestly, Wowzer, this has been really good, man. You've been one of the few people that I've been asked to interview the most. But we've had issues. You know, it would have been good to interview you with your father. I felt like that was essential. But you know, but also the storyline. I felt like the narrative didn't fit. But I think now it's right. Like, it's just right. Skippy cornflakes. Yeah. I'll take you to your final segment now, man. Just some wrap-up questions to finish. Are you ready?
Oh boy, I'm like super big now. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Nothing too hard. All right. What are your favorite Juice WRLD lyrics?
I guess it's pretty obvious I like Juice WRLD, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It would probably be High Tide. I sit back and watch the time fly. Then I pretend that I'm alright. Use my hellfire as some sunshine. And that's from a song called High Tide. That's actually a unreleased song that got leaked. Yeah, that's probably my favorite song, to be honest. Just that line, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he sings it as well.
It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, next. Should players be banned for aesthetic mods, e.g. costumes?
Is this like tournaments? Like, I'm not too sure what this question is.
Oh, like, should you be banned if you're using a mod, like something that's just not meant for the game? Like if you're using it for like a character customization.
I mean, it's not like the other person sees it. I don't have an issue with it. I use mods myself, so no, I don't see any problem with it.
All right. If you were the leader of an emo punk band, what would it be called?
Man, I don't. Who asked these questions? Are these all you, or?
This is just me trying to spice it up, man. Trying to do a brown man.
You know what? I'd probably call it High Tide, since that's my favorite Juice WRLD song. Probably High Tide, I guess.
All right. What's your current biggest tournament payout?
I would say BAM to Evo, because even though I technically didn't get paid, the trip to Vegas was most expensive in a way. So I guess the BAM to Evo, to be honest.
All right. Sons ultimately become their fathers. True or false?
Nah, my dad. Nah, I'm like complete opposite of my dad, to be honest. I'm actually, the only thing we have in common is we like video games. Everything else, nah. If anything, I'm much more like my mum.
Lines of separation. Yep.
If anything, I'm much more like my mum.
All right. Brian or Yoshimitsu?
Man, fuck them both. I hate those characters, man.
You wouldn't choose one? Okay. So fuck them both. All right.
I don't like them both, nah.
All right. What would you choose to be stuck inside? A burning building or a sinking ship?
Well, to be honest, I kind of have a phobia of the sea, so probably a burning building, I guess.
All right.
I'm not good with the sea, man. I'm not good with it.
Yeah. Have you ever been desperate to use Alyssa's season 4 move, Wire Clipper?
I wouldn't say desperate, I just use it because it's funny. It's not a desperate move, I just think it's funny, so I do it.
I think there was one Rambats, you used it and you won a round, and me and Tiny Josh both looked at each other saying, he hates that move. Oh, you said it too.
I used it at CCC, I'm pretty sure. I used it on uni twice.
Oh, my man. All right. Describe the best night of your life. Or what would be the best night of your life?
To be honest, my life has been very uneventful. I don't know. Nothing's really stood out, to be honest.
Nothing you'd want to do? Nothing you'd want to see?
Oh, sorry. Do you mean something I would want? I thought you meant that, like, a night that has happened.
Oh, no. I mean, like, if you would, yeah, I guess describe what would be the best night of your life. Like, if you, like, what would that be made of?
Probably going to a Juice WRLD concert, I guess. Not like that can happen.
Hey, simple man. Simple man, simple needs. And finally, who is your waifu, Wowzer?
People probably won't believe me when I say I don't have one. Not gonna lie.
Oh, come on, you gotta have someone.
Well, first of all, Arisa's not my waifu. Kuni isn't my waifu. I just thought she was cool. And as I said, Arisa, she just gave me them cyborg vibes. I used to have waifus, but I've moved on from that now. I've moved on.
Oh, he's transcended, you know.
Yeah, I'm more interested in real girls now.
his wants go far more. His wants transcend more than just a mere man.
Yes.
All right then. yeah, thanks again, Wowzer. Once again, this is one episode that I know a lot of people have been hounding me to do, like actually hounding me to do, which is fine. You know, like I said, the narrative wasn't right, but it is now. Is there anything you'd like to put up there for the people that follow you? Any last words or shout outs for friends, family?
Just that, like, I'm so thankful for all the people that I have met in the FGC, and like, I would be nothing compared to what I am today if I hadn't of even come out to that first Rambats. Yeah, just like all the friends I've made and all the good vibes and good times, and everyone accepts everyone for who they are, which feels so rare. Yeah, and thanks to Papa Ham and my mom and my brothers, family for. Well, Dad was kind of always the first one that supported me, but all the others that kind of went on for the ride later on. Yes, thanks to them for helping me, and like, nah, it's probably too cringe to say that, to be honest.
Say what it. Hey, this is your time, man. your platform.
Well, a lot of my inspiration through, I think what I am today is from like Juice World and all that. Just so, like being like, you can do whatever you want in this world and all that shit. And yeah, just and even like thanks to you for having me on here and being a great person for the few years I've known you. And Papa Ham always talks about you, like he goes into the alcohol stores.
He's a G, man. He is a G. Like, I've got his back and I've got your back, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone, eh? And just everyone that supported me. And even those who have approached me, because I've always been super antisocial. That's just always how I've been. So it helps when people approach me.
Yeah.
But yeah.